At least it had snowed this time. I would be able to follow my tracks back to Grandma's house, back through this old creaky forest, a forest whose pines groaned and whispered, soon to be silent. Development, they say, and they say it with saws. But at least it had snowed. I'd been lost in this forest many times growing up, leaving sticks and trinkets to guide my way. I remember that a strip from a red Superman cape marked the path to the abandoned ski hill. A Pepsi can out of another era that was nailed to a tree led to the electrified NORAD base fence. And there was a red rock, surrounded by empty bottles of rye whiskey and spray painted with the peaking head of Kilroy. Kilroy of France and Africa. Kilroy of 1945 and eternity. There was a red Kilroy rock, the rock that led to the hermit. I'd never actually laid eyes on the hermit in all my visits to the forest behind my grandmother's house. I'd heard the stories like everyone on the hill had, but only a few townsfolk had actually laid eyes on the man. Even my mother and father could not make the claim themselves. A few of us have seen his home, though. It was a simple shack made out of lumber easily purchased from Sonny's local home hardware. I often wondered if Sonny had seen the hermit before he had even built his shack. Though, if Sonny had sold him his lumber, Sonny wouldn't have been selling to the hermit, because he simply wasn't the hermit yet. Only years alone in a forest shack earn you that title. Or so I thought. I wonder what made him come out here. I wiped my hand against the rock covered in snow to reveal Kilroy's blank expression. I would see the hermit, see him before they sawed the entire forest to the ground. So I left old Kilroy behind. It wouldn't be much farther now. The rock led the way to the hermit shack, but it also acts as a border. I am on his land now, and he hasn't much. It would not be long. And there it was. The hermit shack from dreams and memories, smaller than remembered, but realer than dreamed. The windows were boarded over with abandoned and rusted traffic signs. One read stop, another wrong way. I opened the door. Strange that it should open so smoothly, as if oiled regularly. The shack smelled of wet newspaper and human excrement. It was total darkness inside, except for the shaft of light coming in through the open doorway behind me. At the very edge of the illuminated shaft, I could see a desk with a small ringed notebook and pen. The notebook was open. I stopped at the threshold of the door. Whatever was pulling me towards the hermit shack was ever present now, pulling the base of my brainstem into the shack. I could see writing in the notebook. 3 small lines scrawled in black ink. There was no sign of the hermit. I needed to see what he wrote. I just needed to see what it was. Being in the shack was comforting. In the darkness, I could imagine my own history merging with that of the shack. It was as if they were my books on the shelf, my letters in the drawer, my memories under the floorboards. I could not see enough to prove this wrong. It was too dark all around. All I could see was the notebook. Everything else was imagined. Then the pen was in my hand. I must have picked it up off the hermit's desk, although I can't remember doing so. I began to read the notebook. Ghosts swirled around me. The scrawled note read, "Alone in this shack, only now do you see. We are the hermit." I finished the rhyme in my own hand. And the hermit is me. Then the shack door closed behind me forever.